notice. The notice is hereby given the preliminary budget for the town of Massena for the fiscal year beginning January 1, 2017 has been compiled and filed in the office of the town clerk in Massena, where it may be inspected by any and all interested persons during regular business hours. The amount to be raised by taxes, the total is, with the different districts, and some of them we outlined, is $2,663,723.54. It's also broken out the special districts this way, several special districts. The East Massena Consolidated Water District at $29,294.16. The Highland Bucktown Sewer at $3,930.68. And the South Main Street Sewer at $2,840.42. Notice further is hereby given that the town board of the town of Massena hold a public hearing on November 9, 2016 at 5:30 p.m. at the town hall, and that at such hearing any person may be heard in favor of or against any items therein contained. Pursuant to section 108 of the town law, the proposed salaries of the following town officers are hereby specified as follows. Town supervisor, $15,500. Town councilman is 4 at $6,000 apiece for a total of $24,000. The town clerk is $38,760. The town justice, there are 2 of them at $20,000 apiece for a total of $40,000. Pursuant to section 495, chapter 258 of real property tax law, a report of all exemptions and payment in lieu of taxes may be posted on the town clerk bulletin board and will become part of the final budget. Okay, with that, we will open the hearing to any public comments or questions. Any questions or comments on the budget?
You're estimating that the tax increase can be 10%?
No, actually, the most recent budget is now down to 4.6% with the reductions we made.
4.3.
4.3, and how's that break down? Nancy, I've got the paper here somewhere. $90,000 home is what now?
It is currently,
Where's that rate sheet?
I actually have it, I haven't updated one.
Okay.
It's got a different, it is actually, let's see, 19 cents per thousand.
19 cents per thousand. Okay.
So it would be a $17.10 increase on a $90,000 house.
Yeah, so a $90,000 home will go up $17 and how much?
10 cents.
10 cents on a $90,000 home for the year.
So twice in the last 15 years, the town has increased the taxes 100%, twice. And, you know, there's a lot of little 3s, 4s, 8s, 6s in between there. I mean, how much does the board think that the average taxpayer in Massena can, how much more can they take? We've absorbed $15 million assessment from the St. Lawrence Center Mall. That has to be paid by the taxpayers. We keep giving them breaks. We took over the road in front of the mall. It costs us 15, 20 grand a year we just repaved big portions of the St. Lawrence Center Mall. I mean, how much do you think the taxpayer can handle? There seems to be no concern. I mean, we've raised taxes tremendous. I think your first year in term, you raised taxes 100%.
There was a significant raise. We got a number of years without a raise. There have been years when we've actually had a decrease. One of the years since I've been here, there's been a decrease.
Not 100% decrease.
No, not 100%.
4%. Like
you're telling me we got up 100%, the taxes have increased 100%?
Twice.
That's not true.
No, I don't think that's accurate.
I'll show you.
Well, we've got figures, I mean.
We've not gone up twice 100%.
How far back have you done it?
1998. Here's our figures right here in our percentages. In the last 10 years, probably around 20. Your assessment might have went up.
Yes.
Did your assessment change?
In '98, it was 45%. Is that what I'm saying? That's right? And as far as increase, 99, 50%. 2000 went down 6. 2001 went down 1. 2002 went down 1. 2003 went down 8%. 4 went back up 7%, 5 went down 3, 6 went down 4, 2007 went up 33%. 08 went up 4%, no increase, it was 0, it was flat in 2009. 2010 was my first year here, 1%. 2011, 3%. We're down 4% in 12, up 26% in 13, down 5% in 14, up 2% in 15, 4% in 16, and we're proposing just over 4% this year. So there's certainly been increases, and I appreciate the fact that taxes are increasing. I think we all do, and we do our best to keep those down. Expenses that we have, only some of which is under our control, increase every year. So we do our best to keep them as low as we can, but I've said to this board a number of times, if we have year after year after year of a flat tax, no increase whatsoever, we just get further behind the 8 ball. Then we have to do the 6% and the 8% and the 9% to meet normal increased costs of doing business.
Yeah. Increased costs, I understand that, but it's been a lot more than 4 or 5% if you take even the figures you have and take those together. The years you have 35 and 40 and all that sort of thing. My point is that at some point, there's got to be some kind of a level. I mean, we can't afford to pay every town employee $22,000 for a family health care plan. In 10, 15 years, it's going to be 40 grand. I mean, at some point, we have to take some kind of action to kind of level these tax increases out. I think we'd start by stop helping these out-of-town people at the St. Lawrence Center Mall who don't care if the mall's open or not. We took over the road, and it's an expensive deal. We keep repaving it. We repaved it again this year. I mean, just the tax burden there has gone down about $15 million. I mean, we have to pick that up, don't we? I mean, somebody has to pay for it.
Yeah, we have challenges almost every year.
Yeah, you and I talked about the St. Lawrence Center Mall about a month before you reduced it the last time. And I said, people in Massena don't want you to keep reducing the amount of tax they pay. They don't care. They had a 20-year plan. When the bridge was backed up 2 hours for the Canadians to get across here, and they were making a fortune, they took all that money and ran out of town with it. It didn't stay here. They didn't help the town of Massena. They've never paid their fair share of taxes. And we continue to, for whatever reason it is, I don't know what reason you have behind it, that this board keeps reducing their taxes. I know the mall is not operating like it used to. There's not many stores there, but they have no interest in keeping stores there. They've done everything to drive people out of there.
Yeah, and I don't want to get in an argument with them. I'm going to dispute some of that. The other thing I think you're forgetting is that, the people that built the mall took the money and back to Syracuse or wherever. However, in the meantime, there were a lot of jobs there. There was a lot of sales tax revenue generated there, some of which filtered back down to the town. So I think that, there's only one road that we own there. That's the main road. That's the one that we maintain and we plow. We don't do the back ones behind the plaza or whatever, or the ones up in the plaza. That's all maintained by them. I too am frustrated by the reductions in the tax base that are brought about by these lawsuits. We settled them because, on lawyers' advice, because I think you and I talked about this as well, that it ends up being cheaper than going to court, and a lot of times if you go to court, traditionally the courts have typically favored the property owner in the decision. So you go to a trial, spend a week in trial, you're paying a lawyer, travel, and all the other stuff to come up here from Buffalo to do the case, and then you end up losing, and then guess what? Then who knows what the judge is going to decide the value is. So we try to settle them as much as we can with as little impact as possible. And if you look at all the taxes you pay, and you and I may have spoken about this as well before, because it's been a couple of years I think since we talked, but your town tax is by far the lowest. You get a combined town and county bill in January, but again, the percentage of that being the town is less, I think, less than the county as well. So our tax rate is certainly the lowest of any. But I wanna get back to the original question, and that is that we do our damnedest to take taxpayers into consideration. And there are years when we can avoid tax increases, there are years when we can't. I think this is one of those years. Am I, anybody else?
I understand they have to go up, I'm not disputing that they need to go up sometimes,
Yeah,
but I'm not sure we're doing a good enough job of controlling the expenses that we need to control. There aren't too many people in Massena that can afford a $22,000 family plan, healthcare plan. I mean, they just can't afford that, but we're providing it for every town employee that wants it, and they don't pay an awful lot towards that, and I mean, it's already bankrupted cities and everybody else. I mean, the benefit packages are gonna kill people here. And the town is not like it's growing by leaps and bounds, we're kind of compacting, and we got a huge retirement community here, but those people like myself are getting older, and they're not gonna be around. You wonder who's gonna pay these taxes, and if they just keep going up and up and up. And I understand inflation and all that sort of thing, I understand all that. But I just wanna make sure that we're doing our best to control the cost.
There are certain things that we're getting on one side of that equation also. There are some things that we have no control over, unfunded mandates from upper governmental agencies. The sales tax revenue from the county was down. The gaming compact monies that, they were in the 600,000 range at one point in time, they're coming down. As the supervisor just said, we just settled last week a tax case. So that shrinks your assessable properties. So we don't have any control over those things.
The compact money can't be used to run the town anyway, can it?
Compact money is spent very wisely within the town.
But it does
Very
cover
much.
things like paving, for example, and, and so we can use that money for, it doesn't necessarily lower your tax rate, but it covers expenses that normally would fall into the budget.
That's right.
And paving's one of
You're
them.
paying it for tourism and that sort of thing.
We're using some of it for that, yeah, really a fraction of it though. We're gonna get, gaming compact money, we're gonna get, what, $500,000 we're estimating?
I think around 520 is what we're.
Yeah, estimating 520. We use 50,000 of that for tourism and marketing and that kind of stuff.
I'm glad he mentioned the sales tax money coming from the county, because when the county was out there saying, let's raise the sales tax, it was gonna be the solution to everything. There was no, I didn't even think I was ever gonna pay taxes again to the county, it was that great. But they've done nothing but bitch and complain that it's not enough and it's never enough and all that kind of stuff, so I'm glad you mentioned that.
Anything else from the board on this topic?
Just doing some quick numbers here, from 2001 to 2017, which is 16 years, the rate went up roughly 58%. And one of those years was the 2013 year where the compact money was diminished.
They were holding it, they're withholding it.
Was 26%. So, overall in that picture, it's not as bleak as the double 100%, I'm concerned too. I've got a lot of properties, and I can't very well, raise rent on my rental properties, and can't change, my income taxes either. We all pay taxes within the town as well, so.
Well, and I think that the board, and it started with the supervisor with the original budget. We were at 10% when you submitted.
Almost, yeah.
And we've gotten it down to 4%.
Just over, yeah.
It's taken a lot of work. It's not an easy thing just to whack away, and
Right.
The healthcare package is contractual.
And really, the conversion a couple of years ago to the
Teamsters plan.
the Teamsters plan, which is actually a health reimbursement account, an HRA, has saved us a pile of money. That was mutually agreed upon by the Teamsters in the contracts, and that's, I think the initial year saved us,
9,000 employee, I think, that's what it was.
Something like that.
I think it was $9,000 per employee. The first year we switched over, we saved. And actually, so.
It's only full-time employees.
Right, only full-time employees get that, that's right. And So, anyway, but point taken, you know, we realize nobody wants to raise taxes. And I don't think we want to any more than you want us to. But, again, I'd rather we do a modest amount each year than say, nothing, 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 I'm gonna whack you for 23%. I don't like that.
Cut vital services, I think.
Oh, right, that's
We have
it,
to
sure.
maintain the level.
Sure. And ultimately, that's something we'd have to look at too, somewhere down the road. But what if we're gonna reduce taxes or cut the budget, what are we gonna cut? And what services don't we want? And the village is having the same, all governments are having the same argument, the same, discussion, debate, is that, what are you gonna pay for? What do you want us to keep paying for? What do you wanna give up if you don't wanna pay for it? So,
One of the things that we've taken a look at in the last 2 or 3 years is outside agencies that want money from the town. And we're taking a much, much harder look at what we can fund and how much we can fund it, with the eye to maybe at some point in time, a lot of those outside agencies do not receive town monies anymore. So that's a concern also.
I failed to mention this at the beginning, I just would ask everybody to state their name and address for the record, so the clerk will.
I'm Wayne McComb from Massena Center,
Yeah.
across the river from the richer guys over there.
That's him. I'm down in the farmland.
I'll have you know.
The assessed value, that's a little bit higher than 90,000.
And he's got a nice new road going to his
No,
house.
but I'll tell
I
you,
know.
but I'll tell you what,
Bad shape.
Nick's paving his road. He's mad
Don't
about
say that in front of the press. My neighbors will,
They'll think there's collusion here.
yeah.
County,
It's-
42 is a county road, so if you want to pave, you're gonna have to talk to them.
Look, I have been reminded by the former highway superintendent many times that I don't live on a town road, believe me.
If we could pave it, we would.
You know, even with the Frigo Road, we try to get the Seaway to pave that.
That's the same
They have a
thing.
lot of traffic, heavy traffic in the spring that tears that up. I think they had 1,000 yards of concrete just a few years ago that really tore that road up, and, we tried to get them to pay for it as well, and we got a nice letter back, that was it.
Yes, thank you very much.
I'd like to just comment on one of this gentleman's comments about the employee insurance. I'm not sure where he worked, but historically, town employees were paid very much less than anybody else around. The town jobs were the lowest jobs. I know because my dad worked for the town. For years, the salaries were very low, and we got a benefit of a health insurance plan. So the health insurance plan went up, salaries didn't necessarily go up with everybody else's, so it kind of balanced itself out. Where other state and county and village entities pay a lot higher salary, we don't do that here at the town. So honestly, I believe that the town taxpayer gets a pretty good deal. We have a very small staff, we have a skeleton crew most of the time. We keep our salaries down, and we pay that benefit, which is kind of, we could do what other communities do and pay a high salary and give the benefit. We don't do that here. I think we've been very mindful about that over the years. Since 25 years I've been here, that's what we've done.
And one of the other things that we've done too is we negotiate new contracts with the Teamsters, is that while we can't necessarily have a clawback, for lack of a better term, from existing employees, we put in clauses in the contract to say, new hires will pay X. So we are making some progress there. So that as we hire people, and the state pension system has changed, which is a benefit as well. As we hire people to replace the people that are retiring, we're able to get a little more contribution, a little more benefit there, so.
Government employees generally, early on, were paid less money, but they were, in lieu of that, they were given more free time off and more vacation. I mean, that's the truth, I've been in the business all my life. So, I mean, there's always a trade-off somewhere, I understand that.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to, I can pay my taxes, these gentlemen can pay their taxes, but there are a lot of people in this town that are struggling.
Oh, no, we know that.
And I'm sure you know that. And
Sure,
it's-
more houses for sale, all that kind of stuff, yeah, we worry about that, I worry about that, I'm sure everybody else does as well, so.
As an employee, I just hate to always see it land on our shoulders. It's because of the benefits of an employee that taxes have gone
Well,
up. There's many things that cause taxes to go
There's
up.
no doubt about that, but the other reality is you're an easy target because the biggest expense we have is employees because we provide service, right? So, and we can't increase the price of a widget that we make. We don't make widgets, we provide services. We have to have people to provide those services. So, I mean, you know that argument, so, and there are expenses associated with that.
Believe me, I'm not targeting anybody.
No, I know, yeah.
I apologize if this lady thinks I'm targeting her, I'm not.
Okay, any other comments for the public hearing? I entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Abstention, motion carries. We're gonna skip the public comment section. We need a motion to close, we did close the public hearing. We need a resolution to accept the proposed 2017 preliminary town budget as presented with or without any further changes.
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. All right, we have a motion to accept the budget as we last presented it. Does anybody want to make any changes at this point?
Are the changes in there that we talked about?
No, just the changes at the last meeting that you guys approved.
The last budget session we had, the
Okay,
changes that are in there.
I propose that we take another $50,000 from the resource recovery room money.
Okay. Resource recovery revenue. All right.
Is that in addition to the 28 that we're using to have Brenda
Yes.
work?
Yes, it'll be, but we took initially 100,000, right, Nancy?
Yeah, and we took.
Brenda's expenses,
Yeah,
and then this would be another 50 on top of that for a total of, you have a total, Nancy?
actually, the total use of fund balance, which includes rescue squad, resource recovery, and our own general fund balance.
Yeah,
It's going to, it would increase it from 229, 454.61 to 279, 454.61 as use of fund balance.
okay,
So then,
Part of that is resource recovery.
right,
Part of it is also, just, it's kind of a bookkeeping thing with the lease payment on the rescue squad building, because they set money aside for that. So we call that use of fund balance, but it's actually to make that payment and take it out of the fund that they have it in. So, pretty sure that most of all of this is coming from resource recovery.
okay.
And again, if in fact we come in better at the end of the year with a little more sales tax, a little less expense, we are not then, it is not necessary to use all that.
Right. And that's our intention,
Right.
so.
Okay,
But if absolutely necessary, that's what we would end up doing.
Right.
so then there's no money coming from the town, per se?
It's all
from-
town.
it's not coming from the taxpayer, it's not coming from taxpayer money, it's from revenue that's generated by the rescue squad. But when they bill
For
for,
all resources.
right,
It all goes into our fund balance. That money that is set aside in research recovery, any extra money that we have in the general aid fund at the end of the year is all part and parcel of the fund balance.
okay, so what we would need to do, to change it, we would actually need a motion, to, amend the preliminary budget to include an additional $50,000 in revenue from resource recovery, correct?
Right.
Right, so Tom, do you wanna make that a motion?
Absolutely.
Do we have a second for that motion?
Second.
All right, any more discussion on that? So that's gonna take us down to,
Here's what's gonna happen. Our increase will still remain at about 4.3 because with the recent
settlement at
settlement
Hart
at
Haven.
Hart Haven, it dropped our assessed value down inside by 600 and something.
Yeah,
And-
yeah,
So just the wash of it leaves it about the same at $4.62, which is a 19-cent increase.
So what we're saying is that we just settled a lawsuit that's been outstanding for a number of years that challenging the assessment of Hard Haven. That settlement will drop the assessment there, which would affect the amount of this budget that the preliminary budget we're looking at tonight.
It
So
would
you're-
go up to it would be 7% increase if we don't take the extra 50.
Okay,
Where if we take the extra 50, it drops it to 4.3.
so we'll keep it in the low fours, 4 point something percent. So everybody's clear on that?
You know, we gotta do something because MED's gonna be raising their rates. I mean, I truly believe that what this gentleman said, and I know there's a lot of people out there struggling. We gotta do something, and we worked hard at it, like Steve said, to get down to 4. And, it's not easy, but, I mean, I guess we'll live with, I guess I can live with 4. I
Okay.
don't know if the rest of the board can, but
4.3, okay.
that's why I proposed the extra 50 this year, because we're in tough shape right now, and we'll go from there, see what happens.
Okay. Any other comment, discussion on this, gentlemen?
I think it's, this is my first budget. I never realized it was as difficult it was. The amount of work that everybody's done to come up with this. We're still providing the services that, even paving a road over at the mall and not over at Rivercrest.
Let me say this to you. I understand where you're coming from on that, and Nancy deserves a big pat on the back. It's gonna take, listen, I've been on this board for a long time, and I have trouble with it. It's just a conglomeration of figures. Without her help, I don't know how we could do this.
You're first and my last.
Is there a reason for that?
Yeah.
Might be, she said something about that, but I'm not gonna quote her.
I think it's, I like the fact that we're able to maintain the level of services that we.
Well, that is a nice thing, yeah. And it may not be that way forever, but, okay, so then we have a motion to accept the amended preliminary budget that'll set the tax increase at 4.3%. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, there's no turning back after this vote, so, okay. I'll vote aye as well. Oh, is there?
I think you can still make changes up till the day you adopt the budget.
Oh, so this, yeah, we're only adopting, that's right, yeah, we're not doing, this
Is
is
it-
the final budget.
We're making
Nancy,
this
is
into
it-
a preliminary, or, yeah, we're accepting the tentative and preliminary tonight.
Right.
Right, yeah.
Is my thinking correct? You can make changes right up to,
The day
can
you
you
adopt it.
lower it but not raise it, or it's
No.
both ways?
Oh.
Both ways. We have to have it adopted by November 30, right? We have to have a final budget adopted by November 30. Okay. And we have discussion of the sale of the old museum. What's that all about?
So,
You're gonna update us, okay.
yes,
There we go.
I sent you that report.
That's right.
I got it up on Zillow, Cash and Real Estate, it's the one that's listed for 6 months. It's up on Zillow, it's up on the county MLS, multiple list service, and it's up on the Cash and Real Estate side. Yes.
Good.
So,
You should get some exposure then.
they've had one showing over the weekend, and that person was interested and is looking to schedule another showing, second showing.
Okay.
That's good.
And, yes,
One-
Lucy Cashin is going to show
One
it tomorrow.
potential look at it, and it's just too big.
Mm.
And prior to that, there had been someone who looked at it and said the same thing. They have a small office, and it's just too big. They would have to do too much renovation.
There's definitely capacity for more than one business in there.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
And you got all the room in the back to it if you wanna make it even bigger. You do that. It's a
I
lot of
think I
money.
talked to both of the ones you're referring to and try to talk them into splitting it. So,
Rich mentioned that to me. I said,
yeah,
Rich,
I was,
we'll even throw in a ride in the hearse.
I pointed out it's November 20th that you have to adopt.
20,
Not the
okay.
The other thing that I talked about was the assessment, the assessment.
Yes.
That listing agent who felt that that was discouraging to potential buyers to have an assessment so high. He was saying that we could put it at whatever we wanted,
Right.
change the assessment.
Yeah, well, here's my only problem with whatever we want. It has a value, right? And we've got an appraised value,
Right.
which may be too high, maybe not, I don't know, but, I have no problem adjusting the assessed value down. But if we sell the thing for the 99.9 we're asking, I'm not sure I would be in favor of lowering. I mean, we're seeing houses that are selling for, they're undervalued, right? They're underwater, they're selling for less than they're really worth, so I'm not sure that assessment should be lowered to whatever the sale price is.
No, it shouldn't, and those values are, a lot of times do not reflect the purchase price.
Well, there you go.
We have a certified appraiser
Right.
that appraised that as commercial property for
Yeah.
135.
That's right.
So it should be at least, I would say that, I'm happy to dispute that after it's been appraised for that
Right.
amount.
Well, we paid for an appraisal.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, I mean, happy to dispute it, it's done professionally,
Yeah,
that's what it should be.
yeah, so.
And the other thing too, as far as the sale of that property, we haven't paid taxes on it, because it's our property, so
Yeah.
therefore, if somebody buys it, there won't be any proration of taxes, that's the thing to
Right.
consider when you buy a property, is you have to
Yeah.
prorate the taxes.
Yeah,
And going forward, you know, this should be clarified with the assessor, but I believe that they won't pay taxes until it's filed in September, so there's maybe 10 months without paying any tax on it as well, so you would negate, some funds there that would have to go out if someone
Yeah.
purchased that, so I mean, that's a good selling point as well, so.
yeah, good.
After reviewing Steve's report, and which was thorough and I liked it, I did question the going down to the 99, and I suggested going to, with the appraiser's value. I wouldn't be against going down to what the professional appraiser put it at and leave it at that. Are you guys against that, or
For the assessment, you mean?
the assessment, yeah, what the appraised
The
for?
appraisal.
Yeah, right, yeah,
Right.
set the assessment, yeah. And I don't know that we necessarily need to set the assessment, right? I mean, the appraiser, the assessor
That was
does that.
135?
Well, we should direct them to do that, that way it
Oh,
gets
yeah, I have no
reduced,
problem doing that.
so that the potential buyer says,
Yeah.
hey, it's assessed for that, that's what I'm gonna expect to pay for taxes in the future, I would
Okay.
agree.
Right.
All right, we can do that,
And that was 135,
that's-
Steve?
Yes.
yeah.
And it's something we can't dispute, or they can't dispute.
Yeah, they can, oh, sure, they can always read it, right?
Well, I think
Okay.
that's, like Sam said, I mean, that's what we paid to have an
So we have to
appraisal
pay
done.
the appraiser, yeah, absolutely.
And-
All right. I can do that, I can direct the assessor tomorrow to do that, while he's on vacation, when he gets back Monday. Perfect. All right, good.
Second.
Don't extend it.
All right, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
We're out of here, thank you very much, folks.